This video will explain how and when you might want to use the HTML function on Blackboard. So let's say probably the most common time will be when you're doing a Blackboard discussion post or something like that. So let's say instead of writing the text in the message window, you've written it in a word processing document, let's say a Word document. And then let's say you want to copy and paste that text into Blackboard. So I'll just take this, it's the syllabus, and I'll just copy that just to have some text to work with. So if you go to the window and you try to paste it in, well, actually sometimes it doesn't even work, I have found. I don't know why. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it just doesn't even work. This time it worked, but let's go look at the HTML code for that. So this actually isn't too bad. Sometimes it's so much worse. Sometimes it puts a lot of crap code in. This just has given, the only HTML code that kind of came along for the ride is the span style. Says B 12-point font and B times. Now that's actually not that bad. That would mean my font would be times as opposed to whatever Blackboard uses sort of by default. But that's not that bad. But sometimes it can be much, much worse. Sometimes there can be all kinds of really crappy code that comes along with it because Word also makes HTML documents. And so it has some sort of web functionality built in, except that it's really badly done. So what I suggest you do is instead, let's delete this. Instead of just pasting it in the window, you open up the HTML editor. So you click on this HTML code view. And that's in your the bottom row of tools. And then you paste it in. And then you click Update, and that will paste it in the window. So now if we look at the HTML that we have, it doesn't have any kind of style for the text. It just has what Blackboard has by default. Now we could give it a style by highlighting this, and then so Arial is apparently what it uses by default, or it's what I have it set as default. But if I'm like, I want it to be something else, I want this to be Comic Sans, I don't know why I would want to do that, but I could do that. So now if we look at the HTML, then now we see it has span style, font family, Comic Sans, MS. But the main things to know is that if you want to use the HTML functionality, and I recommend you do if you're copying and pasting text, is you just click on this HTML button in the third row of your tools. And if for some reason you don't have a third row, it's because this little arrow in the right-hand corner has been clicked to the Show Less version. So you just click on it, see it says Show More when you hover over it, and it will show more. So it'll show the HTML button. So if you want to copy and paste your text into the HTML editor, and see if I want to get rid of that sans serif stuff, I could just repaste in what I had originally pasted in, and then, so you don't probably need to use the HTML functionality a lot. I use it a fair amount because I want to format my things that I'm putting on Blackboard in certain ways, and so sometimes it's necessary to go into the HTML editor to do it, but your uses should probably be pretty minimal. Really just opening it up, pasting something in, and then hitting Update.